everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jocelyn and today I would like to tell you about my recent trip to Massachusetts. So our trip started on Saturday. We got up kind of early and we started our drive.
Going into the mist. Grandma fog.
And we made it to our hotel somewhere in the early evening. Now, we stayed at the Revolution Hotel in Boston, and this is a smaller hotel where the rooms are also very small. Our room was literally a wooden platform with a mattress on it, a sink, and then a bathroom that was just a toilet and a shower. All very small, all very close together. Other than that, the hotel was nice. It had some cool artwork and design inside. There was this pillar right by the staircase that was just a bunch of objects attached to it and then painted white. And I don't fully understand why, because I think there's a Roomba in there and I don't know why, but I kind of liked it. Anyway, back to our first night. Saturday we got to the hotel and we were both pretty tired from traveling, Joey especially after all of that driving, and we decided that we just wanted some dinner and then to go to sleep. After deciding against going to the restaurant in the hotel, decided to go to the next closest thing, which happened to be a Tasty Burger. Upon looking at the menu, the first thing that caught my eye was the Lime Ricky. Raspberry Lime Ricky. And I had no idea what that was. Joey ordered it, and it was basically just a raspberry limeade. I thought this was just like a drink particular to this restaurant, but when we were at a museum later on in the trip, there were bottles of Lime Ricky in the fridge. So what is a Lime Ricky, and why is it everywhere in Boston? Another bonus of being in a hotel room, of course, is that they have cable. Joey and I don't have cable at home, so it's always kind of fun when we go travel places that we can turn on the TV and try to find something to watch that isn't like a streaming on demand thing. We had a lengthy conversation in the van on the way to the hotel about children's programming, and specifically what are they even playing on channels like Disney and Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon now. Because when we were kids, those channels were booming and had like so many different shows, and we collectively could not think of a single new thing that would be playing on any of these channels, much less things that they would still be rerunning. So turning on a TV in the hotel room and finding these channels and realizing that we were correct. Like, Disney literally was just playing reruns of Disney movies. And Disney is known for their movies. However, when I was a kid, Disney Channel had many cartoons as well as live action sitcoms, and for the channel to really just be playing movies was very strange. Cartoon Network had a couple of new things, but Cartoon Network also kind of is one of those channels that still plays reruns of things that were on. It's a lot of Amazing World of Gumball, but there's some other things going on too. Nickelodeon really just played SpongeBob. Specifically, the SpongeBob movie kept coming on, and then of course around a certain time of the evening it would turn to Nick at Night.
See?
We kind of ended up watching more House Hunters than anything because those channels weren't playing anything. Like, I just can't wrap my head around it. It has nothing to do with our trip. I'm just so confused. We went to bed pretty much after eating dinner on the first night. And then we woke up bright and early the next day with the intention of going to Salem, although our plans shifted once we realized that our friend who lives in Boston was actually available for the whole day and was willing to kind of tour guide us around the city and travel with us.
Hello. What do you have to say? It go up. The building, it go up. It don't come back down.
So we ended up meeting up with her at the Isabella Gardner Museum. This museum is very different. I've never been to a museum quite like it. I think the closest thing I can think to compare it to would be the Cloisters in New York. There was a rich woman who collected many things, much art, many things from all around the world, and she would just put it in her home and I guess show it off to people. And she basically curated the entire gallery. Most museums, things are kind of hung up in a very particular way, but these walls were just like filled with things. It was really cool. It was really beautiful. The building itself is kind of a piece of art. One of the first things that you see when you walk in is this courtyard that has live plants and statues and different things scattered throughout. And it was really interesting because there's so many like window openings to view this courtyard from on all 3 floors of the building. And I feel like every time I looked out one of those windows, I would find something new to look at. They also had this beautiful painting, kind of like hidden in this little like, not hidden, it was specifically placed in this kind of little like cubby, and the lighting on it was really crazy because it looks like there's a spotlight on something creating those shadows, but really it's just the painting, and the painting has such deep shadows in it and it's incredible, and I could stand there and stare at it forever. The other thing about this museum is that apparently in the 90s they were robbed and they have never recovered the artwork that was stolen during that heist, which is crazy to me because I still just have the empty picture frames on the walls. I don't think I've been to another museum quite like it, and I don't know many others right now that are like it, but it definitely makes me want to find more museums that are different like that because they're more interesting, I think. When you're walking around and there's just like patches of leather on the wall because this lady just collected patches of leather and put them on the wall. Like, that's weird, and I love it. And I want to walk into more rooms like that. Like I said, even just like the walls and like the ceiling was painted in some rooms, and it was just really interesting. After the Isabella Gardner Museum, we ended up taking a bit of a walk around. We got on the train and kind of went to a different part of town, and our friend sort of tour guided us around a little bit, pointed out some different things on the street. We ended up going to the bar across the street. Bar? Pub? The Bean Pub, I think? I don't remember. I got a blueberry lemonade and some mozzarella sticks, and I know I'm partial to mozzarella sticks in general, but those were so good. After that, we went to the Boston Tea Party Museum. This was our second museum of the day on Sunday, and when I say museum, it is called that, I think, but it's less of a museum and more of an experience. The only way to get into the museum part itself is to get a ticket for their reenactment, and the reenactment is essentially sitting in a room where they pretend like you're having the town hall meeting that led to the Boston Tea Party, and then you go on a boat. You pretend to throw some tea over the edge, you walk around the boat, you learn about the tea a little bit more, and then you go into a museum part where they continue to tell you about the Boston Tea Party.
I'm lingering at the scene of the crime. Do you need me to hold this thing?
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, ready?
Yeah, we got to see a vial of tea that is apparently the remnant of tea that was saved. There was also what I thought was more interesting than that, honestly, was a crate. It was the last, like, tea crate that someone had found in the ocean after the tea party had happened and put in, like, hiding for years and years and years, passed it on through the generations of his family, told them, you keep this box, it's very important. And that box lived so many lives. It was like the home of a litter of kittens and a dollhouse, and someone painted flowers on the side of it, and it was just a very well loved object. And I think that's interesting that it's still here. I kind of love that it lived so many lives through so many generations. So many hands touched it, so many people used it for so many different things, and now it's here for us to actually see and see all of that wear and tear and love. I think that's really interesting. So that was pretty much that experience. Again, it was fairly brief. It lets you out into the tea room. I did not get any tea, but this was in fact where we saw the bottles of Lime Ricky in the fridge. So again, I just need to ask, what the heck is a Lime Ricky, and why is it in Abigail's tea room at the Boston Tea Party Museum? So after the Boston Tea Party, we went to another area of town, and I had one goal for this trip to Boston, which was I really wanted a Boston cream donut. Our friend had suggested a place called Mike's Pastries, so that's where we went. It was near Paul Revere's house. We didn't actually stop to look at Paul Revere's house. Maybe next time. But we did go to this bakery. I think we'll get to the donut review a little bit later, but I just got to carry around Boston cream donuts for the afternoon. Take me back. After we picked up our donuts, we went to the Museum of Bad Art, which is less of a museum and more of a bar. The Museum of Bad Art in Boston is a bar that has a barbecue restaurant in it, and the walls are covered in what I would say is not technically bad art, but very unconventional art. It's very fun. I love the concept. I would go back there immediately. Whoever decided to like curate a collection of bad art and then put it up in a bar, they are my hero. That's incredible. Like, who thinks of that? I love that. It was not like a huge thing, but it was fun, and I'm glad that I can say that I went to the Museum of Bad Art. Before we left the museum, the sun actually started to set, and we ended up being allowed to go up onto their little like deck, and it was so pretty. The sky was so many colors, and we had such a good view, and we were able to take photos together, and I really liked that. Such a good ending to the day that we had had. A great day of like exploring and spending time with a friend and eating good food and then getting to watch the sunset over the city. That was like, that was really nice. It was a really nice end to the day. We sort of ended our night by going back to the hotel and then having our Boston cream donuts. Which one do I want to take? I'll take this one because it seems easier to get out of the box. I can smell it. It smells like heaven. The icing is gonna destroy my life. Okay.
That's good.
And this is where I will tell you that is the best donut I have ever had in my life. And if I could eat that every day, I would. Monday was the big day. It was our last real true travel day in the city. And we chose to spend most of it in Salem.
It's our destination. The Salem Witch Museum, right there.
Yeah. And there's the other museum we're going to.
Oh wow.
It's a great view.
Neat.
I did not do my research, so I'm looking at who that statue is. Hello. It go up.
We started out the day by going to the Salem Witch Museum, which is similar to the Boston Tea Party Museum in the fact that it's less of a museum and more of an experience. Although instead of reenacting the Boston Tea Party, you are sitting in a dark room where they shine lights on statues and a narrator explains what the Salem witch trials were and what happened and who was involved. The second part of the museum is more of a museum part where you have a tour guide kind of take you through the timeline of American history that includes the witch trials as well as kind of explaining the origin of the word witch and also discusses modern day witch trials, which I thought was interesting, and I kind of liked that they included that at the end, kind of comparing what had happened back then to things that are happening in current day and kind of explaining why that's not good and why that should not happen. Again, it was a brief experience but an interesting one, and I am glad that we visited. We did notice when we were leaving the museum that behind a wall there was this giant snowman. This was like across the street. It had nothing to do with the museum at all. It was just close by. And I don't know what this building was and I don't know who made this, but there was just a giant snowman with like a tiny little hat, and that was really fun. Like, who did that? I love that. From there, we kind of just wandered a little bit more into town. There was another museum that we wanted to go to. I will get to that in a moment. However, we also wanted to stop for lunch.
New York pizza.
you want
And it's located in the Witch City Mall.
you want New York pizza from Salem, Massachusetts?
Let's see.
We ended up going into the Witch City Mall. I don't think I truly understood just how much the town of Salem is themed after witches. But we went into this mall. It was kind of barren, to be honest. However, there was a pizza place in there, and the pizza was so good. But honestly, the garlic bread was even better than the pizza. I also liked this place because it had a fun environment, fun artwork, fun theming. The employees were super nice. Again, every employee that we interacted with this whole weekend were just like super, super nice. After our little pizza lunch, we went to the Peabody Essex Museum, which is an art museum in Salem. And this one seemed to be rather large. There were a lot of galleries, a lot of exhibits. It was very interesting. I think my favorite exhibit was the glass. There was just like a little white room filled with glass, and the glass was made in all different ways, and that was really interesting to me. I love glass work. It's something I'm not sure I would ever do myself. It's just not a medium I think I would really be that comfortable working in. The three things that stood out the most to me in this particular gallery were the glass frogs, the bird, I think it was a heron of sorts, and then this dress it was crazy to look at that in person because like I read the information about how it was made and I still can't fully get a grasp on it, and I just can't believe that that was in front of my eyes. Unfortunately for me, for me personally, the gallery that connected to the glass was taxidermy. It was a gallery about art that comes from nature. I love that concept. I understand that concept. However, I have an unwavering fear and anxiety about taxidermy. And tell me why I traveled multiple hours to go look at some art and still was faced with a bunch of dead animals. I'm haunted, I think, because what do you mean? Why was it there? Joey went and explored that gallery. I chose to stay and continue staring at the beautiful glass, and then when it was time to go to the next gallery room, Joey very sweetly guided me through that room so that I did not have to look at any of the taxidermy that was sure to send me into a panic, and instead we went into a different room where we learned about nature and learned about how to save the planet, and that was fun and chill. And we did a little iPad game because we're little iPad babies, and we saved the virtual world, and that was nice. Another particular favorite exhibit of mine was the Indian art. A lot of the artwork in that exhibit was so bright and had so many different colors used in so many different ways, and I thought that was really interesting. I think I look at a lot of realism, and I look at a lot of sort of like surreal, abstract type of art, but this kind of had a blend of both, at least the particular pieces in this gallery, and I just really enjoyed a lot of them. There were the set of 2 paintings that to me kind of resembled the Evil Eye, but what really caught me with them is that they had these rings of white paint. They looked like they were glowing, and it wasn't. It was just the way it was painted. The light was painted so beautifully. And of course there was a spotlight on these paintings that probably did enhance that effect, but just the fact that it had that effect in the first place was crazy. There was also this other painting that was a lot more close to the realism side of things, but I just loved the use of color and shadow in this one. Again, I thought it was really interesting. I'm so bad at like reviewing and talking about art, I'm so sorry, but I really enjoy looking at art, and I really enjoy like dissecting it in my brain. So even though I'm not good at verbalizing all those thoughts, I did really appreciate walking through these exhibits and seeing these paintings. I love art. I like going to art museums. Go to art museums. Go support them. It's good. It's good to go look at art. One of the top floors in the museum, towards the end of the walking experience, there was another gallery that focused on American art. Specifically, I think things that pertained to the area of Salem. There was more glass work in this gallery, including this sort of orb that just was filled with a million different things, and is super interesting to look at and reminds me of the ocean and the earth, and it's just really beautiful. There's also more taxidermy. There was more taxidermy up here. There was a large sea turtle in the Z section for zoology. Please help me. I think my favorite thing in this particular gallery on this top floor was this painting. I think it was called The Frights. It's just a very 2D painting of things that are meant to be like kind of spooky, but everything has like a little face, and I think it's super whimsical, and I would love to see like a children's book just like illustrated in this particular art style. I love it. There was also a 7 Deadly Sins piece. I thought this piece was incredibly interesting. It was incredibly interesting just to look at because it was so whimsical, but then you read the description and the intentionality behind the choices made for these particular pieces, and it made it even more interesting. Eventually though, the train did come and we did get back to Boston. We changed our outfits, we were dressed up a little bit more, and then we headed to Boston Symphony Hall for the Death Stranding Orchestra concert. The entire reason that we were in Boston in the first place was because of this concert. The concert was really good. The orchestra played really well. The songs in general are very beautiful songs. They had 2 singers there as well. They sung very beautifully. We also had the special guest of the original composer of the Death Stranding score. The theater is very cool to be in. We had balcony seats, so kind of at a weird angle, but it was a cool theater. Like, there were statues everywhere. It was very, you know, old theater. I will also note that, like, good vibes all around. When we got there, we went right into the line for merch. At the end of, like, once you got through the merch line, they had a little free photo op you could do. And yeah, just like good vibes. I feel like we've been to a lot of different events over the past couple of years, and a lot of like fandom heavy events, and sometimes they are a little chaotic, but this one was like a good energy, good vibes. So good job to everyone in the Death Stranding fandom. I don't really have much to say about this just because I was kind of an outsider to this event, but it was a good performance. It was run very well. Again, the staff were super nice. The host was super cool. Having the guest was super cool. And the music was very beautiful. They played clips from the video game. That was a really interesting experience for me to have as kind of an outsider to it. For that alone, I'm glad that we got to go. I would definitely go to another similar event again. So the Death Stranding concert was the last thing that we did on Monday night. It was over around 10 and we got back to the hotel around 10:30, where I proceeded to watch more House Hunters. We kind of stayed up a little bit later and then we let ourselves sleep in the next day. And then we headed out and we said goodbye to Boston. Hey Joey.
Yeah,
How was your trip to Boston?
it was really good. We did a lot. And it was never boring.
It was never boring.
It was never boring.
Even when we watched House Hunters.
It was a little boring.
Still better than the Bachelor. Bachelor? The Bachelor Dream Mansion renovation.
Yeah.
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 What do you have to say to Boston?
To Boston.
Boston.
I don't know what the Boston equivalent is of I'm walking in.
It's probably just saying Boston.
Feck off. Some feck off. Something like that. I don't know. Good job, Boston.
Bye, Boston. It's time to get the big arch.
Yeah, we gotta get the big arch.
I missed the train.
I guess we better turn around.
It's so blue out. It's like summer.
Look, it's a windmill, except it's not doing anything.
What? What are you doing, windmill? There's no wind. Good job, windmill. We love you. Welcome to Rhode Island. Fish roll. Fish roll.
I will.
Whereas I can tell it's not even like next to any center.
Yeah, it's just making wind. Not making wind. I don't know what my house did. It's catching wind.
We had specifically 2 missions for our drive home. One of which was to stop in Rhode Island and essentially detour through Rhode Island to kind of go on the Ocean Drive.
We've made it to Ocean Drive and I see no oceans.
We see mansions.
Big house. There's some water on the road. Is that the ocean?
Look, there's literally plaques here.
Ooh. Doesn't that make you want to live by the ocean? I'm sorry you're driving, Joey. It's so pretty. It's so freaking blue. I smell the ocean. It's so pretty. Look at it. Look at the water. Look at it move. It's so blue. I can't get over that. It's so freaking blue. And I love that you can see it like crashing against the. I don't know. Is that just like a point in the water where it waves? There's no like beach down there. There's rocks
Yeah,
there.
it's just rocks. There's no beach.
Where's the boat going?
Going home.
This part's a lot more peaceful than the other part. The other part has a lot more crashing.
This part also has newer mansions.
Wow, new mansions. Nice.
Next to the state park.
Yes. But if you were going to have a new mansion, wouldn't you build it across the street from an ocean?
I guess.
Our other mission was to go to McDonald's and try the Big Arch.
You ready for the Big Arch?
It does indeed look big.
It is big. It's got seeds on the top.
Two burger patties. Some type of cheese that's different from the normal cheese.
Yeah.
No pickles.
No pickles.
Some type of sauce.
Because you're a cheater. It tastes like the Big Arch.
I think it tastes like the Big Arch.
Is it good? Is it better than Tastekeeper? We have a bet going on.
So the sauce tastes like pickles.
I told you.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
I don't know if the cheese is any different from their normal cheese, aside from they made it white.
Interesting.
There's something crunchy in it. I don't know if that's like little onions or something.
Are they like fried onions, maybe?
Maybe. It's think it's anything special from like just getting like a Big Mac or something.
We kind of figured.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. It's the big arch.
We're gonna go up.
This is so pretty.
Hey, look at that. It's the big arch.